प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैव पशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदीशभु कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मात् आनन्दशाम्बरे वनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। ओम। वेदोदधिं समुन्मथ्य ज्ञानरत्नं समुद्धृतं येन तस्मै वसिष्ठाय गुरुणां गुरवे नमः। वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। शब्द ब्रह्म की जय। सरस्वती महारानी की जय। योग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। हरि ओम। हम लोग योग वशिष्ठ का निर्वाण प्रकरण का उत्तरार्ध में 29वां अध्याय का विचार कर रहे हैं। हम कल ये देख रहे थे, आज रविवार है। हरि ओम। We are discussing Yoga Vasisth Nirvana Prakaran and second half. And in that, in 39th chapter, we were discussing yesterday how the wise man rests perfectly without doing anything. And how the supreme power becomes inaction, becomes enacting in the mind of wise man. And on that, yesterday there was a question. We have seen, the question was, we have seen this supreme power, which is called power, may it be supreme or individual, limited power. The power is power always. And the power is a process. It cannot be steady. It is always a process which is always changing. Process means changing phenomena. So, the supreme power cannot rest. This is the question. And he says, Vasisthji says, the supreme power, which is known as Chitti, rests in the mind of a wise man. He never acts. One who acts, which is restless or a process which is known as a process, which is as a process is ever changing, how can it rest? This is the question. So, Vasistha gives the example. Yesterday also we have seen both ways. We saw one thing from two different opposite angles. Sometimes which is known as changing phenomena. From other angle if we see, it is always the steadiness. It is not changing. Yesterday we saw it, again you have to we have to discuss it logically, see from one angle which looks like something, to be something, from opposite angle it appears to be something opposite to it. Example, we took the coin, one side is head, the other side is tail. So from one side it looks to be something, and from opposite angle it is just the opposite. So in one we see two opposite things from different angles. Similarly, but it is part of one only. One is seen from different opposite angles. Similarly, we discussed yesterday on the working system of the energy, the supreme power, which we named as Chitti or Mahamaya. We discussed yesterday, process is not continuous. Wherever there is motion, there is a stoppage also. When we walk, we see if we have stepped right leg ahead, then there will be a pause, and then only left hind leg, left leg will come front. In that way, every moment there is a pause, there is a stoppage, and then change is possible. Change means hop, step and jump. Hop, step and jump we have in sports. Hop, step and jump. So change means there should be some stoppage and then motion, then stoppage, then motion, then only it is called change. If it is continuous, it is not change. Continuity is never known as change. Change means it has to be something other than what was before. That then only it is called change. So if it is in motion, then it has to be in no motion, and then again motion, then again no motion. Then only change is possible. Try to understand it literally. Change means one has to change its time, space and conditions, everything. So without stoppage there cannot be any motion. Motion, if it is continued, then it is not called as motion. And if stoppage is continued, that is not called as stoppage. So there should be change, then only there will be motion and stoppage, then motion, then stoppage. It will go on like that. So, if the Supreme Power is a changing process, that means both things are to be there. It has to be there. Motion should be there, and side by side the pause should be there. Similarly, we see in every process, our breathing process, see, when we inhale, there should be a stoppage, then only the prana will be exhaled. And after exhalation, there will be a stoppage. Then only it can return back. If it is continuous, then the person is dead and gone. Inwardly or outwardly. If the prana is continued to go on, then we cannot leave. It should go out, and after a pause it should come in. That is called breathing system. So everywhere we see same thing. When you eat, can you eat continuously? You have to take a handful and then you have to put it in mouth, chew it perfectly, swallow it, and then another handful. Isn't it? Everywhere. While walking we saw. While speaking, there should be stoppage. Then only it is known as a changing process. The whole world is like that. Not one or two. In every changing process we see it. Yes?
Swamiji, here is the essential problem. Till now we have discussed that Brahman is changeless, and now we are talking about accepting this change. Previously you were saying that all change is an illusion, just ignore it. This is precisely the problem.
Yes, this creates confusion. The whole world is a confusion. Where is solution? There is no solution. That is what we were discussing yesterday. Everything ends in confusion. Okay, we shall talk. Yes, Guruji.
Maharaj, from a relative point of view, so there is a stoppage in motion, it is in motion. And what about if it is an emotion? There is also a stoppage in emotion?
Yes. Everywhere there is a stoppage and then motion. That is called changing process. So, what do you want to see? What do you want to see? Whether continuation or a changing process, as you like. If you see both together, then confusion.
We want to experience like Brahman is changeless, that's what we
Yes, so there is no motion, there is no possibility of any changing phenomena. Whatever you know as the world, there is no world in Brahman. That is what we conclude. That is the conclusion. In the end, there is no world. If you see the continuation, nirantarta, continuity, then there is no stoppage. So that is called ever expanding, the literal meaning of Brahman, which is ever expanding, endlessly. And that also from all-round vision. Ever expansion is known as ever steadiness. One can only expand continuously for eternity. Two cannot. So one continuously expanding means there is no continuation. It is steadiness only. Try to understand this point perfectly. Motion, if it is continued, it is not known as motion. It is called steadiness. No motion. If it is stopped again and again, then only it is known as motion or process or speed. So that is where we don't understand the reality perfectly. We, of course, we try to understand and we understand it haphazardly. Sometimes we see the continuation, sometimes we see the discontinuation. Process means there should be discontinued, or else it is not called process. This point you have to be very, very clear. So the whole world is a changing process. So that means the supreme power or energy is subject to both motion and no motion. The whole world, whatever you take, any action you take, there will be both the aspects. One will be motion, the other will be no motion. This is how the changing process goes on. This is the nature's nature.
So it is not an illusion, the motion like
That's why it becomes an illusion. That's how it becomes an illusion. We don't understand whether it is in motion or it is steady. That's how we are confused. Why? Because we see both the things, one after the another, so swiftly. We think it is a continuous process. No. That's how we are confused. And that's how one becomes many. And changing process looks to be steady. Whatever you see outside you, how do you think? How do you think? Is it a changing process or it is a constancy? Come on. Everybody among us, how do you feel it? How do you understand it? We see the changing process, yet we say, we take it for granted, everything is constant. This is how we are confused. And so you are called ignorant person. And the whole world is like this, and we are worldly beings, and this is otherwise known as also the relative world. Relativity means relation between two, comparison between two. So two means there is confusion. What is what? If it is one, there is clarity. If more than one, 2, 3, 4, whatever you go on, there is confusion. How? If one is there, there is no question. And if the two are there, then all sorts of questions arise. Then only we see it as a confusion, as an illusion. And this is due to superimposition. Superimposition. We think something other than what is reality. This is how we are confused. So now coming to our point, how chitti becomes steadied, how this power becomes constant. We have seen already now itself there is a stoppage that is known as constancy, and then again motion, that means discontinuation. So in this way, one after the other, it goes on rotating, one after the other. And this is how the power is both way. Both way. Then only it is known as a power, energy, or else it is not called energy. Yes?
Maharaj, what about cycle? So it is both steady and in motion.
Everything, not only cycle. Everything, whatever you see as a change, as a changing process, everywhere we find both the things together, one after the other. Or else there cannot be any change. Just now we discussed, change means whatever is there, it should be opposite of it. That's how we call it. The world is made up of pairs of opposites. Pairs of opposites. Pairs only, there is no three things, only two things. One is motion, other is steadiness. Then motion, then steadiness. In this way only the whole process of the world creation and its sustenance, its dissolution, everything is subject to this process. So now he gives the example what we were discussing yesterday also, please remember it. Say we saw the moon rising on the hilltop. From the hilltop, the moon is far away, millions of kilometers away, and we don't know anything between the two, the hilltop and the moon. In between, what happens? We have to see the process analytically. You see, we see the moon on the hilltop. That means the eyes are in action. That means mind is working through the eyes and tries to contact the object of the eye, isn't it? So object of the eye is called moon, and it is seen after the hilltop. In between comes hilltop. Now, when the mind sees the moon, what happens really? The mind, which has got a understanding power, say mind or intellect or in subtle state, the same mind is known as subconscious mind. We call it chitta. This subconscious mind where there is a, a an impression of consciousness which understands something. Mind gets the information, it transfers it to the intellect, and after analysis the intellect decides it is like this, and that decision is transferred to the chitta, where it is stored as impression. That is called our understanding. And that is on the basement of consciousness. Though consciousness is not fully aware of it, but basically there is some consciousness who holds, who contains everything, all the impressions. And that is called awareness, consciousness, which is aware of all the impressions stored in it. So that awareness, which is giving a push, a momentum to the intellect, mind, and through mind to the eyes, to travel till the object. This is called perception process. And we saw the object of the eyes, that is moon. So, if there are two objects, there will be some gap everywhere. If two objects are there, there will be some gap. And that gap, if it is not known, how do you understand it? If it is not known, not seen, nothing is known about the gap. But yet it is known that there is a gap. Understood now? There are two things. Two things means, two objects means there is a gap. Gap is known, but what is there in the gap? Nothing is known. That is what we see between the hilltop and the moon. In between, nothing is known. But we know that there is a gap. That consciousness is aware of that gap. Understood now? That awareness is not discontinued. It is all through the process. As a background, yesterday I showed you the background. See the picture? We see difference in the colors and linings. Everything is different from each other. But background screen is continuous. There is no difference. Similarly here the awareness is continuous and objects are different from each other and there is a gap and that gap is continued. That continuation is known as awareness, and that is who knows that there is a gap and there are two things and the eyes are trying to contact the object of the eyes. Who is knowing all this? That awareness which is active. That activeness is known as power, supreme power. And that supreme power which is prompted by the awareness, though it is in the process, yet it is steady. Little difficult to understand. The continuation is there on the background, and change is there over it. Just as in the picture, we see some photograph and many colors are there. Every line is different from the other, and all the objects what we see in the picture, they are different from each other. Everywhere there is a gap. But the holder of it, the background screen, is always continuous. That knows all these changes over it. The page is aware of all the writings over the page, isn't it? Similarly here, the awareness which knows the gap as well as the continuation, both it is aware of. That is called the steadiness of the Chitti, the supreme power. It acts both way, both way. Just now we discussed motion means both way, a stoppage and then a motion. Then only it will be a changing process which we know as power. So both things are there. For a moment it changes, for a moment it doesn't change. This is how the process goes on. Now clear? Both the things are there in the changing process.
This makes perfect sense, Swamiji. But then what do we gain by calling it an illusion? Why not accept it just like you said? Both the things are there. This makes sense. Okay, we see motion, change. Then why do we insist on saying, no, that is an illusion, that is an illusion?
Yes. Why? What is the purpose of discussing all these? The purpose is we have to clarify ourselves. We have doubts. What is clarity? Come on. We use these words, confusion, clarity, question and answers. We use these words. What is the meaning of all these words? Question means? What do you mean by question? And what do you mean by clarity? Answer?
Clarity means something which is without
No motion. And doubt means, yesterday we were discussing, absence creates the doubt. And absence means it has to be many. Either this or that, or that, or that, or that. It goes on changing. And while changing, there will be either or. Either or means in between there will be a gap. So in this way, the confusion is understood and question is understood because our mind is always unsteady. And we say that mind is a process only, mind is not steadiness. We want to make it steady. That is the purpose of all our trial, all our practice, all our discussions, everywhere. Whatever we do, we try to reach the absolute constancy. That is our aim. And that is called rest. And that is what we are discussing, how the mind of the wise man rests forever. It doesn't work. We call it mind becomes no mind. When all the mind means the process. Process means those those waves are called thought waves, and we call it vritti. Vritti means waves. And we always try to deal with the mind to stop it, not to have vrittis, not to have motion. It should be always steady. That steadiness gives clarity, and non-steadiness brings confusion. That's how confusion is nothing but, in other words we call it miseries. When we are confused, we don't have any clarity, then only we are suffering. If we have the clarity, then there is no question of suffering or unhappiness or any miseries, any doubts or any restlessness. Nothing will be there. That is our aim. That's how we discuss all this. Finally, of course, yoga, our Patanjali yoga, it gives some practical exercises, what to do, how to do, some skills, how to control the mind and stop it. Here we don't go there, we deal with analysis. This is called manan. Whatever we have heard or we have studied, we have to analyze it by our own discussions and by analytical process with logics, with examples. Then we go to the conclusion where everything stops. This is the process of Jnana Marga, the path of wisdom. Yogic way they practice some exercises where mind automatically becomes forced to stop by pranayam, by withdrawal of the mind, by practicing some controlling periodically or on some objects to withhold the mind, not to allow it to become restless. That is yama, niyama, controlling the mind with some rules and regulations, and then steadying the body and prana also, and withdrawal of the mind again and again, fixing it on one point. In this way, some skills we have to practice. And here there is no skill, only skill is to discuss it mentally, going on analyzing. Same thing, analysis means withdrawal of the mind from other objects and fixing it on one subject, isn't it? Then only you can analyze. So here he says, the awareness between the two objects, means between the two objects, the gap between the two objects, that is called awareness, and that is the steadiness of the process or the supreme power, chitti, and it should be continued. There should not be change. That is what we were seeing yesterday. We should not have change. We should have continuity. Yesterday we saw, see, the white spots are now, it is changing, isn't it? White, then yellow, then white, then yellow. Though we don't see the continuity of the white, isn't it? Though it is continued in the background, it is in the front, it is discontinued. Same thing is discontinued, which is continued in background. This is how change takes place, which is practically, from basic point of view, it is not changing. If this is understood, then only we can say the world is not a changing phenomena. It is only one continuous continuity, eternal continuation. There is no changing. If this is understood and accepted, then where is the chance of restlessness? This is known as Everest peak of the Himalayas. Everest. Above that there is no motion. The peak, Kut, where there is no motion at all. And there, how it appears to be, there is no objects. All the objects are, they get disappeared. Objects means there will be space, there will be gap, there will be manyness, there will be changes. Why? How? Because the objectification is due to what we call it, due to, no, limitation. Without limiting the unlimited, we cannot objectify anything. Every object will have some boundary lines, some demarcating lines. Then only we know it as an object. So when the unlimited is limited, do you think the unlimited disappears or is ever gone? No, just as we see in this there are some lines, isn't it? Lines means, we draw the lines means the paper is not gone, paper is not absent, paper is present, ever present. Behind the formations, forms are called lines. Forms means the unlimited has been limited with some demarcating, some ideas, then only we call it line. We have a form and we have a name of it. We call a straight line or anything, triangle or anything. Whatever we see, the whole paper which had nothing, it unlimited paper has been limited by demarcating by some lines. Then only it will have a form and then only it will have a name. And this is called objectification. We know the line as an object. It has a form and it has a name. And the moment it has been an object, it has a relationship with the background, continuous, unlimited continuity. It has, the continuation is never broken. That is what we were seeing on the picture example. The background screen is continuous, it is aware of all the changes going on over it, which is known as difference in forms, lines, or colors. They are called objects, but the background screen is continuous, it is not known as object. In this way, when you see the world which is objectified by changes, it has got a background which holds it, which is continuous, which is ever-resting, which is infinite, which is endless, which is unlimited. If we are not involved with all these names and forms, objects and the differences, then finally we get the background continuity. That is known as the causeless cause, one continuous and ever existing truth, which we call it by some names Brahman. Brahman means ever expanding and unlimited, absolute one, ever existing and aware of itself and aware of its existence and contented with its existence and knowledge. So Sat Chit Anand, which is eternal, which is infinite, and which will be only one, and it cannot be changed. And all the changing phenomena are over this only. Just as we saw, the lines are over the paper. Though we see the lines, behind it we don't see the paper. This is why we know the lines. When you don't see the paper behind it, then only you see the line. Similarly, when we see this outside world with names and forms, we forget the background continuity, which is known as the truth. We discuss only to have rest, not to have restlessness. This is our purpose.
Swamiji, if Brahman is expanding, there is something further than Brahman. Then only it should expand, otherwise it will not expand.
Yes, This is our relative understanding, but this is not the real understanding. Ever expanding means there cannot be two. Ever expanding means it appears to be expanding, but it never can expand. Ever expanding means not total expanding. We are in motion means we are in continuous continuity. Ever in motion means there is a background which is not changing at all. When the car moves, does the road moves? Road is always continuous, steady. Then only we see the motion of the car over it. Everywhere, wherever, any example you give, it is of two types. One is steady, other is changing.
ब्रह्मन का व्यक्त रूप ही एक्सपैंड दिख रहा है, अव्यक्त तो एक्सपैंडेबल नहीं दिख रहा है।
दिखता नहीं पहले.
हाँ वही तो दिखता ही नहीं।
The background is never seen. That's how we see the changes over the unchanging platform.
नहीं स्वामी जी, वहाँ डॉक्टर है, इनको थोड़ा लेंस बिठा लेंगे तो ठीक पड़ेगा।
And that is what lens we get from the scriptures. Jai Guruji.
महाराज, the word infinite, immeasurable होगा, from a logical point of view or unknowable?
All these words actually have no meaning. We speak some words which have no meaning. Infinite has got no meaning. Can you explain what is infinite? Is there any limit to explain it? Without limitations we cannot explain, we cannot define any object if there is no limitation. Infinity means a meaningless word where mind cannot work. Then infinity means mind has to stop there. Similarly, Brahman, the moment you understand it and accept it, you know it, then there is rest only. It cannot expand, it cannot. Expansion is known as a process, but there is no process. How to explain that? No process. When you speak, it is a process. When you understand, it is a process. How to express no process by process? It is impossible. That's how it is said. Both the supreme power as well as the supreme truth, both are unexpressible. Both are ever expanding. Both are infinite. Just as your reflection will be similar to your form. Similarly, this world, which is nothing but the reflection of the Absolute, it is equal to Absolute. Endless, ever expanding, ever unseen, ever unexpressible. Similarly, the truth is ever expanding, never expressible, and ever existing. So how to express it? So whatever we say, it is not the reality, the reality cannot be expressed by any process. Yes,
Infinity can be understood as Purna, Sampurna.
same thing we have several names which all these names of the absolute, it takes us till the border and then it becomes meaningless. It loses its meaning. If it will have some meaning, then meaning is not steady. Meaning means it is a process. Mind works there. So, meaninglessness is known as truth. Meaninglessness. No words can express it. That's how it is called beyond time, space, and causation, beyond expression, beyond understanding, which is not visible, not known to the senses, mind, intellect. Nothing can reach there because all these are only subject to change, and which is ever steady cannot be reached by unsteadiness. This is what we understood by this example, that there is a background behind the ever changing phenomena, and that background is known as awareness, and it is ever in rest because it is never subject to change. So ever resting, and it is the most beautiful Satyam Shivam Sundaram because it is ever resting, never changing, so always beautiful, continuous beauty. And सभी प्राणियों के अनुभव सिद्ध, everybody knows it. All the beings, they are aware of their awareness. This is how everybody knows it. Do you know you are? Do you know you are? Can you forget that you are? So every being knows I am, and this is how everybody knows its awareness, everybody is aware of its existence, and because of its existence it is satisfied, ever contented, it is aware of its existence. So this is how we call it Sat Chit Anand, which is omnipresent, omniscient and omnipotent. That's why it is expressed in these words which is not the reality. These words, they indicate the reality. That's all. Indicator are the symbols. विषय स्वभाव है, उस स्वभाव को पंडित लोग जानते ही हैं। उस स्वभाव में स्थित विवेकी का सृष्टि ज्ञान शुरू हो जाता है। When you know this, a discriminative person, when understands this thoroughly well and gets established on this understanding, then this world with names and forms, which is ever changing, disappears. Then and there it disappears, and this discriminative person, it rests forever. That is how the wise man rests ever, and he doesn't do anything. Though he is in the world, yet he is not worldly. This is what Gurudev used to say. Be in the world, but don't be worldly. Not only Gurudev, all the scriptures, they say same thing. Be in the water like a lotus leaf, but don't be attached to the water, just as a lotus leaf. Be in the world, but don't be worldly. Do whatever you like to do, whatever comes by the way, but yet don't be the doer. If this is understood, then no world can cause any miseries or any restlessness, any doubts or any unhappiness, nothing. You will be ever happy, ever in rest, ever steady, peaceful, ever contented, blissful. There will not be any more any world with names and forms. सृष्टि ज्ञान जो है वह शुरू हो जाता है. The knowledge of this world dwindles into nothing. There is no world. You cannot accept the word world. The word world has becomes meaningless for you. There is no such word called world. It becomes meaningless. सुषुप्ति और स्वप्न में जैसे एक दूसरे की विषयता नहीं है, वैसे ही तुरीय में भी जागृत आदि की विषयता नहीं है, ऐसा संभावना की जा सकती है. सुषुप्ति में स्वप्न की बुद्धि नहीं है और स्वप्न में सुषुप्ति की बुद्धि नहीं है. यह जैसे सबको ज्ञात है, वैसे ही सृष्टि में मोक्ष बुद्धि और मोक्ष में सृष्टि बुद्धि नहीं है. यानी सुषुप्ति और स्वप्न की बुद्धि के सदृश सर्ग और मोक्ष का बुद्धि है. अर्थात तुरीय मोक्ष में चित्ती की सर्गादि विषयता रह ही नहीं सकती. From all these points, all these logical points, we come to the conclusion. He gives another example. Just as the sense of deep sleep is not in the dream, and the sense of dream also is not there in deep sleep, isn't it? Similarly, this turiya means the witnessing state has no waking state or so-called dream state or no so-called deep sleep state. All these three states disappear in the witnessing state. So how can you say it is witnessing state? What does it witness? It witnesses itself, nothing other than itself. That is called witnessing. Just as you see your hands, legs, the parts of the body in you only, you don't see it outside. So all these names and forms, they will be the part and parcel of the witnessing body. Just as your parts of the body becomes a body when the body witnesses the parts of the body, isn't it? Similarly, when the wise man witnesses the innumerable changing different names and forms, he sees it within himself. It becomes one with it, so it sees nothing. Though he sees, witnesses everything, yet it witnesses nothing. Example is, just as you see your parts of the body within the body, not different from the body, you witness it. Similarly, the state of a wise man, he sees the whole world within itself and without any meaning, without any differences. He becomes one with everything. Just as you, as a body, become one with all the parts of the body. Then only he says, Mamatma Sarvabhutatma, myself is self of all the beings, all beings. And then only he is called Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha. He is ever engaged in doing good to all the beings. That means when you protect your hand from cold or heat, what are you doing? Are you not protecting yourself? So you are called Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata. Just as this, just as we protect our feet, hands with the gloves or socks, by shoes or sandals, similarly, the wise man who sees the whole world within itself as one, he does, whatever he does, it becomes well-being for all the names and forms, that means to himself. That's how it is called Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata. Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata means he never does anything to anyone other than himself, because he feels oneness with everyone. All the many are disappeared in one. And this is what is otherwise known as Kaivalya, Kevalta, oneness. This is otherwise known as Mukti, freedom from all these worries or anxieties or relationships with many. You have become one. There is no many. Now no relationship, no worries, no anxieties. So, in this way, only one becomes Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata, is the well-wisher of all the beings, the whole world. And he only can declare, Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma, myself is self of all beings, because he feels oneness. Oneness, one background, continuous background, that is he. And the changing phenomena he witnesses just as the background screen is aware of and witnesses all the colorful changes, pictures over it without being perturbed, without being involved in it.
How do you think awareness is same as consciousness?
Yes. And then this state is known as liberation, or moksha means freedom, or सर्गादि विषयता का नष्ट होना. That means no objectification. There is no object, only subject is there. And this is also known as Triputi in one. Means the doer and doing process and done object becomes one. It disappears in the doer. सुषुप्ति आदि विभाग भी भ्रांति मूलक ही है, इसीलिए वह परमार्थ नहीं हो सकता है. ये तो करा है, ये सुषुप्ति आदि ये सब भ्रांत है, भ्रांति मूलक है. We know the three states of all beings: deep sleep, dream and waking. Three states we know. But he says all these three states are only confusions. There are no three states, there is only one state. In what way? How do you say so? Hari Om. When you have become one with the background screen, then only you can say there is no colorful picture over me. Isn't it? Then only a wise man says there are no three states, only one state. One state is witnessing, ever existing, never changing. And these three states, which are known as deep sleep, dream and waking, they are just words, meaningless words. Meaningless words. Why? When you contemplate over these three states, are you present in these three states or not? You know that you slept well. You know that you dreamt a beautiful dream last night. You know you are awake. You are all the time same. Who was sleeping, who was dreaming, and who is awake. That your own self, which is never changing, and which is witnessing these three different states, that is called witnessing turiya sthiti, witnessing state. If you can understand that, then from that point of view, these three states are not there. These are only meaningless. Just as you go on walking, you go for a walking. You have seen many different things by the way, isn't it? But you are the same from your starting point till the end. You had a walking and you have gone through so many changing objects, but all the time you are witnessing, you are the same. So similarly, you are the visitors or witness of all these changing three states. You are always the same. So these changing states are meaningless for you. यह स्वप्न सुषुप्ति आदि विभाग भी भ्रांति का ही एक स्वभाव है। इसीलिए न तो स्वप्न, न सुषुप्ति, न सृष्टि और न मुक्ति ही है, किंतु अशेष विभागों से शांत परम ब्रह्म ही असली तत्व है। So just as we have seen in all these examples, one is always common and always continuous, over which all these discontinued process are seen. Everywhere we see the same thing, just as in the picture or in the life, our changing states of life, or anywhere, anywhere. Just as in the water we see the waves, bubbles, or other changing forms of the water, but water is same everywhere, all the time. Just as the different colors of the sky, but sky is always common. Similarly, the absolute truth is ever present, and all these changing phenomena is meaningless, and all these changing states or all these words which narrate all these changing phenomena, everything is meaningless. Meaningless. Meaningful is only one. Witnessing means not witnessing. Witnessing means to be aware of yourself. That is called witnessing. There is no match going on. Match is over and you are sitting on the क्या कहते हैं उसको? Yes, stadium. And what are you witnessing? The ground is there, no game is going on. And if you are, the stadium is witnessing games and no games. Similarly, the creation and no creation. On the ground, there are matches and no matches. Ground is ever present there. The stadium is always witnessing this. That is called witnessing. The stadium witnesses all these changing games. Sometimes cricket game, sometimes kabaddi, sometimes volley matches, sometimes some other sports. Everything is going on in the stadium. The stadium is ever present and never changing. Witnesses, it witnesses all this. That is called witnessing, being aware of. स्वप्नादि क्यों नहीं है? इस पर कहते हैं जो भ्रांति है उसका असली स्वरूप असदात्मक ही है। विचार करने पर यदि उसका सुक्ति रूपया के सदृश लाभ नहीं होता तो स्वप्नादि असत्य पदार्थ कैसे प्राप्त किया जा सकता है? The question comes, how do you say that there is no deep sleep, there is no dream, there is no waking? How can you say it? He says, because it is not there, it is not continuous, it is not to be found. That's how it is negated. He gives the example of the silver in the shell. The inside shell glitters like silver. People mistake it to be silver. But as much as you can try, but you cannot get any silver there. Only whiteness, glittering whiteness. So, all these changing phenomena is not at all there to be found. Why? How? Because deep sleep is not continuous. It is just a state imagined, which is changing. Everywhere we discuss on changing phenomena. Deep sleep changes into dream. Dream changes into waking. Your so-called waking changes into dream. In this way, there are several different states. Waking in dream. In dream also you feel you are awake. So waking, dream. Dream waking. That is called dream waking. And dream sleeping. In dream you see, I am sleeping under a tree. You are dreaming that you are sleeping under a tree. Beautiful shadow, and you were tired, and you were sitting there, and you got to sleep. So that is called dream sleep, and dream waking, and dream. You are dreaming that you are dreaming in the dream. So that is called dream. All these states go on changing. So changing phenomena we don't rely upon. Because it is changing, we cannot rely upon it. Similarly, waking dream, waking sleep, and waking. And dream, sleep dream, sleep waking, and sleep. In these 9 states. And all these are simply changing aspects of the witness. One witnesses all these changes, isn't it? You are all the time same. You are dreaming that you are sleeping in the dream, and in the sleep you are dreaming. You are dreaming that you are sleeping, and in that sleep you are dreaming.
जैसा कि एक स्टेडियम बेस बनता है कुछ भी खेल देखने के लिए खेल होने के लिए, ये स्वप्न सुसुप्ति और जागृत का बेस
Body nahi, awareness. Body is also changing. So body is a changing process. But your awareness never changes. You are always aware that body is changing. From birth itself till the death, you are the same. But your body changes. Sometimes you are called a child. Sometimes you are called a youth. Sometimes you are called a patient. Sometimes you are called old man. But you are the same. You are aware of all these changing aspects on you. So that awareness is ever present everywhere in all the objects behind all changing process. That is called witnessing.
Awareness as a body only.
Both. Awareness is awareness. Awareness of body and awareness of your existence. You are aware in your childhood that you were a child, isn't it? You are aware in your youth that you are a young person. And you are now aware that you are an old man. And you are aware that you are going to die. And after death also, you will be aware that you have died. And again, you will be aware that you have taken a new body. So this awareness is never disturbed. And that is somewhere known as body, wrongly, somewhere wrongly known as individual being, self, and somewhere it is known as the causal body, though everything is changing. And the absolute awareness is ever present in all these changing phenomena. So, negating everything. Your world is negated, your three states of the being is negated, your objectification is negated, your witnessing the world is negated, there is no world. Your restlessness also is negated. Finally, you are the absolute constancy, there is no change, and you are at rest. There is nothing which can be achieved for you, or there is nothing which can be renounced by you. No achievement of liberation or no renunciation of world. No rejection, no acceptance, nothing. You are beyond everything. How do you come to know this? By only after discussion, only after analysis. That's how we analyze, step by step.
Swamiji, when you are witnessing, also there is vital.
Yes.
Swamiji, when you are witnessing and being aware, also there is vital.
If you say I am witnessing, that is Dvaita. If you don't say it, if you don't express it, then there is no Dvaita. It is Advaita. Expression is in Dvaita, in dualistic way. If no expression, but yet you are witnessing, you are aware of your witnessing state, then that is not called dualism, that is monoism. Your witnessing state is not required to be expressed. No need of any expression. If you say, I am witnessing, then there is dualism. Understood? No expression. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. चुप. बात मुँह नहीं खोलना, उसको भी बोलना नहीं. क्या देख रहे हो? बोलना नहीं. So tomorrow we shall see further with other examples and logics, finally coming to the end that one exists, there is no many. There is no world, and that is called ever resting, ever peace, ever awareness, or ever bliss state, blissful state, in whatever manner, in whatever way you understand it. This is how the highest we can explain or understand. Beyond this, there will not be any words to understand or to explain. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevamashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय. शब्द ब्रह्म की जय. सरस्वती महारानी की जय. जोग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय. हरि ओम.